afternoon everyone, and once again welcome back you all to the online classes. So as you all know that now we are discussing the 6th unit of your science part, that is universe, and in that we have started the first chapter, that is stars, planets and the earth. So in our previous class, means in the yesterday's class, we have learned about the astronomy, stars and constellations. So now just we can recap the things what we have learned in the previous class. A small recap on it. So what do you mean by the astronomy? Yes, the astronomy is the science that studies the universe with its celestial bodies and related phenomena. And the scientists who study the astronomy, they are called astronomers. And the first living creature to travel into the space is the Russian dog called Laika. And it was traveled into the space in the Soviet space capsule Sputnik 2 in the year of 1957. And the first person to travel into the space, he was also the Russian cosmonaut, that is Yuri Gagarin, in the year of 1961. So this is what about the space travel, the first. And we learned about the stars. So what do you mean by the stars? Yes, the stars are the luminous heavenly bodies that emit the light and heat of their own. And if we see the night sky, we observe the stars. Even though they are the large spheres of the burning gases, they look like the specks of light. They look like the tiny spots in the sky. The reason for this is, even though they are larger in size, they look like the tiny specks of light because of their distance. They are farther away from us, so that is the reason they look like very small in the size. And we can observe some of the patterns, some designs in the sky that is made with a group of stars, and they are called as the constellation. So constellation is a group of stars that forms the recognizable pattern in the sky. For example, the Ursa Major, Orion, Leo Major. These are some of the examples for the constellations. Right? So about this we have learned in the previous class. And in our today's class, we are going to discuss about the planets and satellites, as well as the planets of the solar system. So now we can discuss planets and satellites. Planets and satellites. So already in your previous class you have learned about this, about the solar system. So it is just like again an introduction towards it. Already you have learned in detail in your 3rd standard itself. So the planets are the non-luminous heavenly bodies and that are revolving around the sun. Yes, the planets. How many planets are there in our solar system? Yes, there are 8 planets in our solar system, and those planets are the non-luminous heavenly bodies. So non-luminous means what? The objects which do not emit the light and heat of their own. They are called the non-luminous bodies. The planets we mentioned, they are the non-luminous heavenly bodies. It means they do not emit the light and heat of their own. But even though we can see the planets in the night sky. So you might have observed that some stars are in the fixed position. And we of course see the change in their position, and that is due to the movement of the earth. Right? When the earth is moved, it appears that the stars are moving, but actually the stars are there in the fixed twinkle, the stars, how they shine, they look like just a spot of light. It doesn't shines like, it doesn't twinkles like the stars. So that is what the differentiation between the planets and the stars when we are seeing in the night sky. So these planets are not having their, or they do not emit their light and heat of their own, but whatever it is, the if they show, if we can see the surface of the planet, that is the reflection of the sunlight. So when the sunlight is fall on the planet, the surface of the planet, and then the reflection of the light, it appears like it is having its own light, but actually the planets, they do not emit their own light and heat. Okay. And also the satellites are the smaller heavenly bodies and they revolve around the planets. Okay. The planets are the heavenly bodies, they revolving around the sun, and the satellites they are also the non-luminous heavenly bodies, but the non-luminous smaller heavenly bodies that revolve around the planets. Even these satellites are also, they do not emit their own light and heat. And even though we can see the moon, yes, the moon is the satellite of the earth, it is the natural satellite, and these satellites are called as the moons, and earth is having one moon, it is the natural satellite. So on the full moon day, it appears that we are seeing the moonlight, we can say, but actually what we say the moonlight, it is not the light emitted by the moon, it is the light reflected by the moon. When the sunlight is fall on the surface of the moon, which is facing towards the earth, then it reflects the light, and that reflection is what we can say the moonlight. And we can also learn about the phases of the moon. We can say the full moon and new moon. So on the full moon day, we can see the fully illuminated part of the moon, so that we can say the full moon day, complete moon, because the surface which is facing towards the earth, it reflects the complete light of the sun, so that it will appear fully. And Sunday, when there is no moon in the sky, that we call as the new moon. So because in that particular time, the face of the moon, which is towards the surface of the moon, which is facing towards the earth, it is the non-illuminated part, which do not get the reflection of light, which do not get the light of the sun. So about the phases of the moon in detail we can discuss in the next chapter. So now this is just a brief introduction for that. Okay. So this is what the planets and the earth and these natural satellites. Satellites are the non-luminous heavenly bodies that revolve around the planet, and these satellites are called as the moons, and the moon is the earth satellite. Earth is having one moon, that is the natural satellite. So now I will give the definition for this planet and the satellite. Just note it down in your notebook. So planets are the heavenly bodies. Planets are the non-luminous heavenly bodies. Non-luminous heavenly bodies that revolve around the sun. Okay. And in our solar system, how many planets are there? Yes, there are 8 planets. And the satellites. What do you mean by the satellites? Yes, the satellites are the smaller heavenly bodies. Satellites are the smaller heavenly bodies, smaller non-luminous heavenly bodies, smaller non-luminous heavenly system. Planets of the solar system. So what do you mean by the solar system? The sun and its 8 planets and their moons. So they are called, and some other celestial bodies are also there. So they together called as the solar system. And in the solar system, the sun is there at the center and it is there in its fixed position. The sun is not moving anywhere. Before that, the ancient people, they believed that the earth, we are in a fixed position, but the sun is revolving. But as the day by day, when the studies started on the astronomy, so what we have found that the sun is at the fixed position and other planets are revolving around the sun. This is what we know already. And there are 8 planets and they revolve around the sun in the fixed path that is called the orbit. Okay. So see, now I will show you. This is the position of the sun. Okay. And remaining 8 planets. Okay. So Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Yes. So these are the 8 planets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. These are the 8 planets. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. So these are the 8 planets. Before we were studying that there are 9 planets, but Pluto, because of some of the reasons, it has now considered as a dwarf planet. Now we are not considering this as the member of the solar system. So there are 8 planets are there in the solar system and all the 8 planets are revolving around the sun. So this is the center. This is what? The sun, which is the large sphere of the burning gases. And these all the planets, all the 8 planets, they are revolving around the sun in an elliptical path, and this path we call as the orbit. Okay, so all the planets and all the planets in the solar system, they are held by a strong gravitational pull. Yes, it's like what, we are just like floating in the space, floating in the sky, and all the planets, even though nobody are holding that, all the planets, they are the heavenly bodies, but yet they are all revolving around the sun. That is because of the strong gravitational pull. So by that they can be held in a fixed axis or the fixed path. Right? So this is for the planets of the solar system. Now we can discuss some brief introduction or some brief main points about all the planets. We are not discussing in detail, just the main aspects of all the planets we can discuss now. So see, we know that there are 8 planets in the solar system. Already we know that. Which are those? The Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. So these are the 8 planets in the solar system, and these 8 planets are classified as inner and outer planets. The planets are again classified as the first four planets. Which are the first four planets? Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. So these are the first four planets, and these are called the inner planets, which are very closest to the sun or near to the sun. So these four planets, the first four planets are called the inner planets, and these inner and outer planets are separated by the asteroid belt. Yes, in between there are the first four planets and the next four planets. There in middle there is the asteroid belt is there. So that asteroid belt, it separates the inner and outer planets, and what are those asteroid belts we can discuss in the next class. Okay, so these inner and outer planets, the first four and the next four planets, they are separated by the asteroid belt. The large, after the Mars there is a large gap is there, and that gap is filled with the asteroid belt. Okay, about the asteroids we can discuss in the later classes. And mainly these first four planets, the inner planets, they are made with the rocky part. The rocky part is more. And now we can discuss one by one about this. The first one is Mercury. So Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system. It is the smallest planet in the solar system, and also it is very close to the sun. Very close to the sun, and it is the smallest planet in the solar system. And Mercury, there is very variations in the temperature, so that we know that all the planets are revolving around the sun. So the Mercury is also revolving around the sun, and when it is revolving, the phase which is coming towards the sun, it is extremely high temperature. So the temperature is more here. The phase which is facing towards the sun, it is having more temperature, and the phase which is behind the sun, then which is not getting the sunlight, that phase will be coldest one. So here the temperatures in the Mars, it is varies between, sometimes the phase which is towards the sun, it is having given plus 400 degrees Celsius, and which is there, means the phase which is opposite, which is not getting the or which is away from the sun, it is extremely cold, and its temperature varies from plus 400 degrees Celsius to minus 180 degree. So see, 180 degree lesser than the 0 degree. Yes, so this is what the temperatures. And the Mercury, it has no moons. Means the natural satellites are not there for the Mercury. So this is what about the Mercury. It is the smallest planet, and its temperatures are differentiate. So when the surface of the Mercury which is facing towards the sun, it is having extremely high temperatures, and the phase which is away from the sun, that is very coldest, and it has no moons, and the temperature varies from plus 400 degrees Celsius to minus 180 degrees Celsius. And the Mariner 10 was the first artificial satellites which reaches the Mercury, and that is Mariner 10, which was launched by the NASA, and which flew past for in the year of 1973. They were launched the Mariner 10, and it has accomplished the many firsts, and even which flew past the planet in the 1974. So this is what about the Mercury. And the second planet, it is Venus. Second planet, it is Venus. Venus is the brightest and the hottest planet. It is the brightest and hottest planet of the solar system. So you might have think that the Mercury is the first planet and which is very near to the sun. Then why it is not hottest planet? So since it is nearest to the sun, it will get more temperatures, right? But we do not consider the Mercury as a hot planet, but we consider the Venus as the brightest and hottest planet. Why? What is the reason? The reason is that the Venus is having the carbon dioxide in its surface. Carbon dioxide. So we know that the carbon dioxide is the greenhouse gas and it is having the characteristic feature that it can trap the sunlight. So since the Venus, it is having carbon dioxide in its surface, it traps the sunlight and leads to the increase in the temperature. So that is the reason Venus is considered as the hottest planet, because the most of the sunlight is trapped by the carbon dioxide which is present in the surface of the Venus. So when the carbon dioxide traps the sunlight, the temperature will be rises. So that we consider this Venus as the hottest planet. Is it clear? And why can we call it as the brightest planet? Brightest planet means, so most of the sunlight, even it reflects also. How much it is trapped by the carbon dioxide, the most of the light even reflects also, so that it will be considered as the brightest planet. So that Venus is called as brightest and hottest planet in the solar system, and it is also not having the moons. Even the Venus has no moons. No moons for the Venus. Okay. This is what about the Venus. And the next one it is Earth. And now we can discuss very brief and in detail we can discuss about the Earth in the last at the end of this chapter. So the third one is Earth. So the Earth is the only planet which supports the life because of all the necessary whatever. It is having optimum temperatures and whatever the basic things needed for the living things. So that all are there in the Earth, the water, soil, everything. So that the Earth is the only planet which supports the life, and it is called the blue planet because its surface, it is made with the water. 70% of the surface is comprises of the water, so that it appears like blue, and so the Earth is called as the blue planet. Yes, the Earth is called as blue planet. It is because of the presence of water. When it reflects the light, it appears blue in color. And it is the fifth largest planet in the solar system. Fifth largest planet. Because the inner planets what are there, they are the smaller in size, and the outer planets, they are larger in the size. So among the inner planets, this is the first largest planet. Means if we consider only the first four planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, it is the first largest. And if we consider all the 8 planets, it is the fifth largest planet in our solar system. Because the outer planets are all larger in the size. So that this Earth is considered as the fifth largest planet in the solar system. Okay. And this is about the Earth, and it has one moon. How many moons are there? One moon, that is the natural satellite of the Earth. This is about the Earth. And the next one is Mars. The Mars is the fourth planet in our solar system, and this planet smaller than the Venus and the Earth, So since the size of the Venus and the Earth is slightly similar, even the Earth is the largest in the inner planet, but these are slightly similar in size, so that these are called as the twin planets. And the Mars, it is the fourth planet in the solar system, and it is called as the red planet. And this is because, so this is called as red planet. We call the Mars as the red planet because of the presence of iron in its surface. The iron is present in the surface of the Mars, so that it appears as red, and we call it as the red planet. And the Mars, it is slightly smaller than the Earth and the Venus, and is larger than the Mercury, its size. Okay, this is what about the inner planets. And see the Olympus Mons. Olympus Mons. It was the volcanic eruption which took place on the Mars. And we know that when the volcanic eruption took place, they formed the mountains. So Olympus Mons was there in the Mars, and its height was 22,500 meters. The height of the Olympus Mons was 22,500 meter. It is higher than that of the highest mountain on the earth. Which is the highest mountain on the earth? It is Mount Everest. So Mount Everest is the highest mountain on the earth. What is the height of the Mount Everest? Yes, it is 8,844 meters. It is the highest mountain on the earth, but the height of this Olympus Mons was more than that of the Mount Everest. See, it is just 8,844 meters, the height of the Mount Everest, which is there in the Nepal. But the height of the Olympus Mons was 22,500 meters. See the height. Yes. So it is there given in your textbook. You can see that. Okay. In the page number 270. See, here it has given the Olympus Mons. See, this is the Mount Everest which is there in the Nepal, and the height of the Mount Everest is 8,844 meters. And this is the height of the Olympus Mons. It is 22,500 meters. See the height, distance. Yes. So, and when we see on the Mars, Olympus Mons, it was appear like this. Yes, can you see this? Yes, this is what? The Olympus Mons. And now we can discuss about outer planets. So, this is all about the inner planets, and now we can discuss about the outer planets. So, the outer planets are larger in size than that of these inner planets, and they are mainly comprising of the dust, gases, ice with small solid core, and the outer planets are larger in the size, and we all know that the outer and inner planets, they are separated by the asteroid belts, and these outer planets are mainly comprises of dust, gases, ice with the solid core. So this is what the outer planets, and the last four planets, that are the Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. These four planets are called as the outer planets, and these outer planets are larger in size. So now we can discuss about the Jupiter. Yes, the Jupiter is the first planet in the outer planets and it is the fifth planet in the solar system. So the four planets of the outer planets are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Right. And see, the first planet in the outer planet, it is Jupiter, and this is the fifth planet of the solar system. And this Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. It is such a large that 1,300 Earths can be fit inside the Jupiter. Means we can place 1,300 Earths inside the Jupiter. So it is such a large. You can just imagine how much large our Earth is. And in the Jupiter we can place 1,300 Earths. So just imagine what is the size of the Jupiter. So that the Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system and it is the fifth planet. And the surface is mainly made with the dust and all. And this Jupiter, it is having 67 moons. Yes, the moons are the natural satellites. And this Jupiter, it has 67 non-moons. We know there is many moons, the 67. Okay. So this is what about the Jupiter. This is the fifth planet and the largest planet in the solar system. It is so large that 1,300 Earths can be fit inside the Jupiter. And it has 67 moons. So this is about the Jupiter. And the next one is Saturn. And this is the sixth planet in our solar system. And it is the second largest planet in our solar system. Second largest planet in our solar system. Next to the Jupiter. The second. It was the first largest planet and this is the second largest planet in the solar system. And it is having the ring so that it looks the beautiful. Yes, its beauty is due to the ring. It is having the ring on it. And this ring is mainly made with the dust, gas and some of the rock particles and all. So this is what the Saturn, and it is the second largest planet and it has 62 moons. Yes, it has 62 moons. The Saturn is having the 62 moons, means the 62 natural satellites. And the seventh planet, it is Uranus. The seventh planet, it is Uranus and is the third largest planet in the solar system. Uranus. It is the seventh planet and the third largest planet in the solar system. Third largest planet. And it is the only planet which rotates sideways. So we know that all the planets are revolving in this direction. Right? Like this. All the planets are revolving like this. The arrow mark which indicates that the movement of the planets. But it is the only planet which moves in the sideways, means like this. It moves in this, means like this, in this direction. Sideways. All the planets are revolving like this, but it moves in the sideways. This is the only planet which moves in the sideways and it is the third largest planet and it has 27 moons. The Uranus, it is having 27 moons, means the 27 natural satellites. And the next one is Neptune. Neptune, and it is the fourth largest planet. Fourth largest planet, and it is having the poisonous methane gas. It is having the poisonous methane gas on its surface, and so it looks like blue in color. It has the poisonous methane gas on its surface, so that the Neptune appears like blue color, blue in color. Okay, and it is the fourth largest planet, and Neptune has 14 moons and the most dense gas giant in the solar system. So it is having the 14 moons, and also it is called as the most dense gas giant. Yes, because of the presence of this methane gas. So this is what about the outer planets, the Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. So in this class we have learnt about the planets and satellites as well as planets of the solar system. So we have learnt about all the 8 planets. So the planets, the 8 planets are classified into inner as well as outer planets. The first 4 planets are called as the inner planets. They are the Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. And the next 4 planets are called as outer planets, and these are the Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. These both, the inner and outer planets, they are separated by the asteroid belt. And if we compare the sizes, the inner planets are smaller than the outer planets. The outer planets are larger in the size. And we have learned about how many moons are there and what is there in its surface, and the smallest, brightest, hottest, the largest, all about the planets we have learned. So I hope you have understood this. So in the next class we can discuss about some other objects of the solar system as well as about the Earth. We can discuss in the next class, and I hope you have understood this. With this I will conclude my today's class. If you have any doubts